Guys, we are here with Daisy this morning. Daisy is heading home this evening, so I wanted to do a quick little recap video for everyone, for her owners to go over all of her commands, so that you can recap back to this video if you have any questions or you can't remember anything that we'll discuss on our take-home lesson. So to just go through her commands real quick, they're going to be come, which is stop whatever you're doing, come and sit at my feet. Sit, which is a sit stay. It is an implied stay, so it means when I say sit, put your butt on the ground. When I say okay, you're allowed to leave. Down is what she's doing right now, which means put your belly on the ground and remain until release, just like I did with stay. Place, which is also what she's on right now. Place means go to a given object of different height or texture and remain until released. All four paws should stay on the object. They are allowed to sit, lay down, chew a bone, chase their tail, take a nap, whatever they want to do, as long as they are on the object, they are in place. Especially with puppies, I don't overlay commands, so I didn't actually tell her to down. She just decided to lay down because she's been there for a minute and she realized she's going to be here a second, so she's making herself comfy. It's okay, Frank. So, place, go into object and stay until release. It's interchangeable, so it can be anything of different height or texture. It could be a towel, it could be a chair, it could be a bench at the park, really whatever you want it to be. Most typically it's going to be their dog bed at their house, but again, the more objects that you practice with them as they start to get older, you're going to build self-confidence because you're going to teach her different textures and heights, and it's going to help her realize that she can jump onto new objects. So as she's getting a little older, you can start introducing her to different places as well. Come, sit, down, place. Off is going to replace the word no. So it's going to be used for things with Daisy in particular, like jumping, play biting. Daisy, place. Place. Good girl. Jumping, play biting, trash diving, picking up items that aren't hers. In the beginning, she was like nipping at and her owners too, my feet or like my sneakers or like my pants, anything like that. She's not doing, place. She is not doing that with me anymore. But if she does, that's going to be an off command. No. Wait is going to be waiting at the door. So it is going to be used before you take her out to use the bathroom or go for a walk. You're basically telling her we are going to stay and go into a calm state of mind, and we're not going to leave the house until I say we're ready and when you're in a calmer state of mind. If you let your dog door bolt and just run out the door, what you're doing is teaching them this is the amount of energy that I'm okay with. And you're teaching them it's okay to go out before you. It's okay to go out without permission. And that's where you're going to have dogs that you're going to have to like, no, get back, right? Whenever you're trying to get something. So she's doing excellent. She is now auto sitting with me. She knows when we get to the door, she has to sit. Now, granted, if it's like first thing in the morning since she's a puppy or she's just eaten or something and I know she has to pee, I won't make her do a full sit. I will just say wait, and then I'll say okay, and then she can go out the door with me or after me, but never before me. So that's going to be wait. Come, sit, down, place, off, heel, wait. So heel, we have several videos on heel already, but the main point behind heel is walk with me at my pace. So it's basically like you're playing a game of follow the leader, where you're making your dog follow you in any direction and pace that you are going. So it is not just that we're easy. It is not just that we are taking a walk right now and she gets to free roam. That would be free time. That would just be me saying okay and letting her just free roam. If she's in a heel, she needs to have her nose should be about at your knee. You should be able to make a clean left turn, and she should follow with you when you make a right turn or if you start picking up pace or if you slow down. You should also start practicing as soon as you stop walking that she should go into an auto sit. That is something that we have been practicing together, and the more that you do those repetitions with her when she comes home, the better she's going to be. Now remember, dog training is more about training the owner than it is training the dog. Now that Daisy knows what all of the commands mean, it's going to be up to us as handlers to reinforce the behaviors that we want our dogs to display on an everyday basis. If we are not showing them what we do want, and all you're doing is correcting behaviors that you don't want, you're not going to have an obedient dog. You have to set them up for success in the future by practicing things now. So you do have homework when she comes home. You will see a lot better success, not only as she grows and what her abilities are for commands, but as for your ability as a handler, because you're going to practice this. Now that she's had 3 weeks to practice all these behaviors, she'll actually be coming back to us for another week as well to add e-collar in. But the more that you practice these behaviors, your handling skills are going to get better. Granted, they have had a dog with me that trained with me years ago, so they are familiar with all of the commands and the body language and the leash pressure and the e-collar. They are familiar with all of those. But when you have a puppy, it's kind of, it's not like it all goes out the window. You have a great head start. You have a great head start, but you want to make sure that you're understanding that not all dogs are the same. She is not Penny. She is Daisy. So she's going to need to practice all of these things and build a working relationship with you guys as well. So she understands that you guys have follow through. Follow through is key when it comes to training. If you do not reinforce that your dog, like every time, if you've noticed that she has gotten off of this object, I have put her right back on the bed. Because I am reinforcing that place means you have to stay on here until I've released you from it. If you get off before that, I'm going to put you back on. Every single command is going to end with the words, okay. That means, okay. And it's going to be nice and high-pitched. Daisy, good girl, place. Yes. Good job. Okay. Good. Sit. Good girl, place. Yes. Good job. And then I'm using her breakfast right now, so I just give her a handful of her food. We're also working on easy or gentle or take it nice. Oh, that was my fault. Daisy, place. Right, so what I do for this is I hold a few kibbles in my hand with it closed, and then I kind of release my thumb so that she knows that, see, and now she nibbles me a little too hard because she gets so excited that she nips. But we're really working on that. So jumping, I'm going to stand on her leash so that if she tries to jump up at it, she gets an autocorrect. Easy. Easy. And then I slowly release it by just kind of opening my fingers a little bit. If she's snapping too hard, the best thing to do is take the food, is take your hand back away, right? So if she goes like this and she goes to snap it, I whip my hand away. No, nice. Take it easy. Easy, Daisy. Easy. Easy. And then I just kind of open my hands. Okay, so that's the best way to go about doing that. Taking it gentle, making sure she's doing great with play biting. I'm not having any issues with play biting. If she does go back to play biting with you, what you're going to do is you're going to, I know, it's okay. You're going to, yeah, there you go, perfect. You're going to go like this and just give a quick little squeeze. That's it. All right, so when she's biting at you, you're going to say off and give her a squeeze so that she understands that teeth on skin is never appropriate. So as soon as teeth touch skin, I'm letting her know, no, we don't do that. And then I go right back to, yes, good girl. Then when you start seeing them start to lick you afterward, easy. So right there, she kind of nipped too hard, right? And I kind of take it away. Easy. Good. Easy. Easy. Good girl. So jumping to, like I was saying, you're going to step on your leash. So I'll show you this. Okay. Good girl. Okay, so Get her entangled. Okay, so if you have your leash on, and as soon as she goes to jump, so I'm going to tempt her. Hi, you good girl. What's a good girl? Yes, a good girl. What's a good girl? So she's already picking up that she knows that this is Frank is going to get all bajiggity on us. Easy. But anyway, so with jumping, just stand on the leash to that perfect spot. You'll figure out right where it is. That when she leaves the ground, her leash gives her an instant pop, right? So she understands that what the pressure on the leash means calm down or pay attention. So if she jumps and gets a quick red light or a quick yellow light, she's going to know that means, no, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You can also use your knee to move into them. So a lot of times what people want to do when a dog jumps is they, Daisy, found a kibble place. A lot of times what people want to do is move back when a dog jumps on you. But if I move back, look, I'm creating more of a area for her to want to come towards me. If I move into her, I'm applying spatial pressure by saying back up, and you've backed up, right? So it goes through the same thing when we are working on a sit stay or placing. So spatial pressure is great because when you're working on this, so perfect. Okay, so she went to get off, pressure turned on by me moving into her. She backed up and I backed up. So pressure turns on because I need you to change what you're doing. Pressure turns off, right? Pressure on, pressure off, right? So rather than using English where people are like, no, don't do that. No, Daisy, go to play. And they just specifically want to talk to their dog to get them to do what they want to do are the people that aren't going to see great success, where you're going to see some success, but not great success. If you learn to use your body as a way to communicate with your dog, just like you are with your slip lead, you're going to see a big difference in the relationship between you guys. So if she's on place and you keep practicing this now as she's a baby. So right now, Daisy, good girl, place. And you keep practicing this now, you're going to start building up as far as distractions go. So right now it's just food because she's really interested in food. So if I just go like this and make it exciting for her, okay, good girl. So I didn't tempt her too long. I made sure I let her know that she doesn't get to leave until I say okay. I'm not going to set her up and not give it to her, right? But I'm going to, Stay. All right, so I move in, back off. So when I stopped her with my hand because I want to make sure she didn't get to those kibbles that I dropped on the floor. Wait. Okay. And then I'm going to release her and let her go eat those kibbles. Right, so I'm building up distractions. I'm making it so that she understands regardless of what's going on around me, I still have to stay on place. So in the beginning, you're going to do easier ones, right? So just like this. And you could do her entire breakfast like this. So there's a game called Paper Plate Recall where you are going to be practicing multiple things with your dog by practicing this one game. So if you are doing, you're going to be working on recalls. Where'd you go? You're going to be working on recalls, sit stays, impulse control, and feeding by hand. You're doing so much. You're giving her so much mental stimulation for dinner time by doing this. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to either put them on place or you're going to put them in a sit stay. And then you are going to take an empty bowl. And the first step is just what you saw me doing, where I tried to put the bowl down and she instantly wanted to go to the bowl, right? So I'm going to be using my leash. I can step on it so that she can't get as far to reach the bowl, even if she does break. This is going to help me and you with your handling skills to make sure that you're catching her before she gets to the prize, basically. So the first thing we're going to do is put the empty bowl down. Her impulses are going to be go check out what just went on the floor, right? She's a puppy. She wants to check it out. Come here. Place. Good girl. Right? So just teaching her just because a bowl hit the floor doesn't mean you get to break. So I'm going to say, So I'm going to go nice and slow. I'm slowly creeping my way down. And as soon as she kind of makes those movements is when I'm going to remind her, no, think about it. Spatial pressure. Okay, now the next step is going to be dropping some kibble into it. Wait. Okay. Now I'm going to let her go and eat those kibble. While she's over there, I'm going to step back over here. And as soon as she's done eating, I'm going to do a recall. Daisy, come. Good girl. Place. Place. Good girl. Stay. 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 Okay. Good girl. And then so on and so forth. You're going to go back here and do it again. You can make the bowl go further and further. You can add harder distractions in. You can do this with high value treats. But if you do this with her dinner every night and you make it into like this fun thing, look, she's already picking up on the behavior of go back to my place because I know what the next step is. She's so smart. She picks up on things really fast. She is a dog of consistency, repetitions. She's a creature of habit for sure. Excuse me. So paper plate recall is a fantastic way to work on impulse control, which with labs, I would say is one of the bigger things. They're just so happy all the time that they forget to kind of slow down and think about things. Place. Good. As far as down goes, she's doing well with down. She could still use a little bit of work. So especially when she comes back for e-collar, we're going to be doing a bunch more repetitions of down. But for now, if she is not doing it, so I'm using food, and you can lure, say down, and point down to the ground. Now, she doesn't do that. A great way is to step on the leash and pull forward, down. Daisy, down. There you go. Okay, and then reward when hits. Okay. Good. Sit. I always start from a sit position to a down. Down. Good girl. Okay, well, that was my fault. But same thing. So you're just going to do reps of that. Place. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Down. Nope. So I'm pulling forward with my leash. So stay. Pull forward. Down. Down. Good girl. Okay. Sit. Down. Down. Daisy. So it's always easier to go from a sit to a down, especially with a puppy. No. Sit. Down. Yes. Okay. So you can see she's picking up on the fact of what it means. It means put my belly on the ground, but of course we would like to see a little bit faster as far as like sit. Right? Like we want her to do it that fast. So more reps. Down. Yes. Much better. Okay. Good girl. Ooh, got my finger there. So again, if you're she is nipply when she comes to eating her kibble. She gets so excited and those baby teeth hurt. Sit. Down. A little pull. Down. Yes. Down. Good girl. Okay. Easy. Okay, easy. So I'm going to start with my hand this way even. Slow, See, too snappy. Off. Off. So yeah, so let's see. We did come and stop whatever you're doing. Come and sit at my feet. As far as that goes, you want to make sure that you are reinforcing that with a leash. If you do not have a leash on her or her e-collar when she starts that, do not use the word come. What you're going to do is devalue yourself as a trainer, because if she doesn't come, you do not have a way to reinforce that command except for verbally. And as we know, that is the least effective way to work with our dog, is verbal cues. That is really just an overlay. So having a leash on her, or a long line on her, or even a long piece of rope, you could have 100-foot piece of rope on her and let her running around outside. And in that way, at least if she gets wherever and you're like, Daisy, and she doesn't listen, you can give her a pop on the leash. So the same thing like you did with the e-collar for Penny, when you say her name, it's going to be Daisy, to mean pay attention. Daisy, Daisy, come. Yes. Sit. Okay. Good. Right, so you're going to reinforce that. So if she's outside and she's running around, or she's in the house and you have a long line on her, you're not going to start repeating the word come over and over and over until she comes. You really only want to say a command once or twice, and make sure your dog understands when I say a command, you have to do it the first time. That's how you're going to get consistency and really good follow through. What you want to do for repetition is her name until she pays attention. So she's out bonkering around and you're like, Daisy, come, Daisy, come, Daisy, come, 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 come. Right? You said it like 7, 8, 9 times, and she's learning whatever. I can just do it on whatever number times they say it. When I feel like coming, then I'll come. But if you're like, Daisy, 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 yeah, come. Good girl. So once I have her looking at me and paying attention, good girl, is when I'm going to, so right there was way too hard with the off. Right, so that was way too hard. She actually left a little hole right there when she just munched that from my hand. And we've been working on this daily. So if she's munching at your fingers a little too hard and it's getting irritating for you, I'm okay with you practicing just going like that and throwing it on the floor if you don't want to get your fingers nipped. But it's clearly something that impulse control that she needs to work on. So I would highly recommend continuing to practice that with her and getting her to understand that you don't get to snap treats out of my hand, because she'll do that forever. There's so many dogs where you hand them a treat and I just have to like toss it to them because the owner's never reinforced taking it nicely, and they'll chop my finger right off. But yeah, she's such a good girl. She, off. Good girl. So like that, she found like a bottle cap on the floor. I just told her off. That means no. She dropped it, and I'll throw it away and give her something else that she can occupy her brain on. Paying attention, monitoring her is key. She does still use the bathroom frequently, but she's not having accidents, which is great, but I am also taking her out very often. She uses the bathroom as soon as she hits the grass, typically. Excuse me. She uses the bathroom as soon as she hits the grass usually, which is great. But yeah, just continue to keep doing that. Monitoring her. She is a scavenger. She looks for like every tiny little thing on the floor. And she will. So luckily you don't have any small children, which is great. You guys can be a little bit more responsible about making sure there's not stuff on the floor. But keep her in areas where she can't chew up things. If she's not being monitored, she should be in either her crate with a bone or a toy or what have you, so that she can occupy her time or she can take a nap. Using her crate during the day is so important. Using it when you're home, not just when you're out or when you're going to sleep, is so important. Think of it like her bedroom. Don't think of it like somewhere where she has to go when she's being bad, right? You want to use it after you take her for a walk or after she's had a good playtime or a lesson. If you're not doing feeding by hand, I recommend feeding in the crate. You can even just toss the kibble straight down on her crate pan so that she has to sniff and it takes her a little bit longer. You could do slow feeders for her if you wanted to. Any way to make her kind of have to use her brain a little bit for her food rather than just putting a bowl down on the floor and her eating it in 10 seconds and then what's next. You can use that to your advantage and wear her out by feeding her dinner. If you take 10, 20, 30 minutes to practice with her, you know, the more you work with her per day, the better. A lot of times people ask me, like, how much should we be working with her? I typically recommend a 30-minute session every day, or at least five times a week or so, you know, like at night or in the morning. Even if you break it up into two 15-minute sessions, or three 10-minute sessions. But the more you do, the better. I recommend just using these commands throughout the day. It's okay to keep a leash on her at the house. You do not need to you do not need to just use a leash outside. Use your leash inside. It gives you a way to reinforce your commands 100% of the time. The more you reinforce, the better she's going to be. If she knows that when they say, Daisy come, Daisy sit, Daisy place, right? When they say that, they mean it, then you're going to have a much more well-behaved adult dog when she grows up. So reinforce everything you ask of her. Don't say, Daisy come, and she doesn't do it, and then be like, oh well. Or put her on place and then she leaves and you're like, whatever, I'll get it next time. You can't do that. Place, I don't recommend doing for more than like 10 minutes right now, but as she gets older and she has a little bit more attention span, you can build up to 30, 45 minutes, an hour, and then they'll just kind of take a nap on their bed. So just again, like off, just like her crate. So you can see she's starting to get like, nobody's paying attention to me, I'm bored, I'm going to look for something to do. Come, sit, good, come. Yes, sit. Excellent. Place. Good girl. She tires out pretty quick, as far as she loves playing with the other dogs, which tires her out really well. So if you ever want to do daycare, she is always welcome to come to daycare. It's a great way to keep her social and wear her out. She tends to... Gosh, girl. That got me good. That tends to wear her out really well, and she's so nice and calm when she gets a good playtime and a good mental stimulation. Taking her for a good healing walk, really practicing zigzagging and different directions and pace changes and sit stays, and you can place her on things during your walk. Anything you can do to add mental stimulation during your walk is the best thing for her. You're going to give her so much mental, just drain her brain. If you just use exercising as a way to wear her out, you're going to build an athlete, and eventually your dog is going to need to run 1 mile to tire out, and then 2 miles, and then 3 miles. But if you do 1 mile and every day you kind of do a different mental stimulation, where today we're going to walk really slow, and the next day we're going to do like a lot of zigzagging, and one day we're going to take a jog. Anything you can do to keep her thinking the whole time. What am I doing? Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? She has to always be paying attention to you and playing follow the leader, rather than just taking a walk and using her nose to sniff. You can always say, okay, you're out of your heel, you can go walk around. Of course, like I've said in other videos, never let her pull, even outside, never let her pull on the leash. So, okay, and this video is getting a little long, but that's okay. I'm going to show you wait at the door real quick and just demo that, like I was saying. So wait is going to basically just be a sit stay. So we're going to fix her leash. Okay, so nice and high up. So you can see as soon as I put her leash on, like properly and everything, she goes into this auto sit because she knows that this is what we do every time. Okay, so we start out by sit. Right, so she's gonna sit and I say wait. Okay, so I'll open that. So at first I'll use my knee. My cat's right there too, which is always a big distraction for her. She loves the cat. Wait. So the cat's there, so I'm gonna move into her and use my spatial pressure. Wait. Wait. Okay. And then I say okay, and she gets to come out. I know she loves the cat. Okay, so right there, right off the bat, she gets excited and sees the cat. If I let her act like this and behave like that, I'm showing her that that's what I'm okay with. So right away, I'm going to let her know, we're going to calm down a little bit, and I'm going to use pops to demonstrate that to her. When we're out just taking a walk, see how it goes straight? Now this is just one finger's worth of pressure, right? As soon as it goes straight, I'm going to give her a pop on the leash so that this leash is always loose right there. So I do what I call the lawnmower, where I pop her into me and then I release that tension. Pop and release that tension. So she's in free mode right now. She can like hop around and sniff and, you know, be a puppy. But as soon as that pressure turns on, I give a quick pop on and off. If she bites the leash, you can tell her off. She's been pretty good about that. She's been getting much better about it the last week or so. She's really starting to grow out of some of those like really silly puppy behaviors because I've been very consistent, good girl. I've been very consistent about not allowing those behaviors to start, and as soon as they do, I nip it in the bud. So just make sure that this is always loose, regardless if she's in free mode or she's healing, so that she understands when we do take a walk that this is always in play as far as red light, yellow light, green light. Oh, she's got poo. Okay, honey. All right, so we'll wrap it up there. I'll let her go use the potties. But, you know, besides that, we will, of course, go over all of this information on her take-home lesson 2, but just so that you have something, like I said, to reference back to. This is going to kind of cover the basis of everything. So if you have any questions about anything at all, please let me know. Like I said, we'll be back with more for e-collar with her. So anything you think of during the week, you can write it down or text me or whatever and let me know so that we can focus on that more when she comes back. So hopefully that helps. And if anybody else needs help with their dog like we have with Daisy, give us a call today. We would be happy to help you get your dog and you up to a nice working relationship together, because a obedient dog is a happy dog. So hope everyone has a good one. Say bye, Daisy.